Manchester United considering a shock approach for Chelsea left-back Ben Chilwell, who has been told to leave the club by the Chelsea manager. Osimhen, McTominay transfer Domino, and Victor Lindelof is apparently injured. These are some of the stories we will be discussing on this afternoon show. But before we get into that, please do me one small favour. Smash a like on today's video. Let's try and see 1,000 likes on this episode. And if this is your first time watching, please do subscribe to the channel. We're just about to hit 38,000 subscribers. So if this is your first time watching, make sure you get involved. Everyone is welcome. Right, let's start with some positivity then. And that will be on Manuel Ugarte. So this is being reported by the Manchester Evening News. It's being reported by multiple other sources as well this afternoon, that apparently Manuel's representatives, i.e. his agents, are now confident that their client will sign for Manchester United this summer. It says Jorge Mendes is trying to break the deadlock between Manchester United and PSG. It is said that Ugarte is not considering offers from any other clubs as he only wants to join Manchester United. The story then goes on to say that Fabrizio Romano reported on Friday that the player is now desperately pushing for a move to Manchester United, which we obviously know. And obviously we also know that Manuel Ugarte is not in the PSG squad. He's not training with the first team. He's being made to train on his own because effectively he's told them he wants to leave. He's told them he wants to join Manchester United, and he's handed in a transfer request. Now, I know the Manuel Ugarte saga is getting frustrating, and I know people just want this deal to happen, but I think now it's a matter of when, not if. Manchester United are cleverly trying to bring the price down. They know that PSG are desperate to sell. They know that the player wants to leave. They agreed personal terms with him about 8 weeks ago. This deal will happen. It's just a case of waiting and waiting and waiting because Manchester United are confident that they can pay less than the 60 million euros asking price that PSG are currently demanding. And what I want to ask you today is, how much do you think Manuel Ugarte is actually worth in the current market? I want you to get in the comment section and let me know now. I personally think if we could get him for 50 million euros, which is 40 million pounds, I think that would be a fair price and I would be happy with that. Anything more than that, I think is maybe a little bit questionable when you consider that he spent the whole of last season sat on the bench for PSG, and when you consider that they've just signed João Neves and they literally don't need him anymore, Manuel Ugarte. So they've kind of shot themselves in the foot here because they've brought in their brand new midfielder, and Manuel Ugarte didn't even play when João Neves wasn't here. So his game time is going to be even more limited if he was to stay. So I think £40 million would be my absolute limit. If Manchester United could get him for any less than that, that would be amazing. But for me, 40 million is the absolute max that I think Manchester United should pay. That's pounds or 50 million euros. Obviously, if we could do some sort of swap deal, Jadon Sancho for Manuel Ugarte, a straight swap, I'd be open to that. But in reality, swap deals can be quite complicated because obviously Manuel Ugarte's wages will be different to Jadon Sancho's. They might want signing on fees. Like, swap deals very, very rarely happen. So yeah, in theory, a swap deal makes sense. But when you actually break it down, Jadon Sancho's on about 250k a week at Manchester United, and Manuel Ugarte is only on around 100. So already you can see a flaw in that idea there. But obviously, I'll keep you updated. I know it's frustrating, but we have only got, 13 days left of the window. And I think for this one, it is a matter of when, not if. And we just have to be patient, which I know is annoying, but it is what it is. That's how the transfer window works. The next story I've got for you is on Victor Lindelof, and it's bad news, whichever way you look at it. So Victor Lindelof is obviously someone who Manchester United are actively trying to sell. Fiorentina apparently in talks with Manchester United over a deal. Eintracht Frankfurt also apparently in talks with Manchester United over Victor Lindelof. And there has been a picture circulating this morning of Victor Lindelof on crutches. Now, at this stage, we don't know the extent of the injury, so hopefully it's just a precaution. He wasn't obviously in the matchday squad yesterday, but most people thought this was because he was leaving. But it looks like he's on crutches. It looks like he has some sort of injury. It will be pretty frustrating if Lindelof doesn't leave now because he has only got 1 year left on his contract. He's going to leave next summer for free anyway, and we need to move him out now. He doesn't have a place at Manchester United. Like, he hasn't done anything wrong, but when you look at our squad, we've got Martinez, we've got De Ligt, we've got Lenny Yoro, we've got Johnny Evans, we've got Maguire. Obviously, Luke Shaw can cover at left-sided centre-back, and we are actively trying to sign a new centre-back as well. And I think that, for me personally, Maguire showed us last night that he still can do a job at Manchester United. Now, just to be clear, am I saying that Maguire should be given a new contract and stay for the next 5 years? No. Maguire, when his contract expires next year, should probably be let go. In fact, definitely let go. But for the time being, I think Maguire can do a job. Whereas for me, Lindelof doesn't really offer us that much. He's not very physical. He's not very good at heading. He's not the quickest either. Whereas at least with Maguire, yes, he's slow, but he's very physical. He wins every aerial duel. He doesn't get pushed out of the way. So he does have his strengths. Whereas for me, Lindelof just isn't really a Premier League style player. So I wish him all the best. I hope he recovers, and I hope he recovers in time to get his move to Fiorentina or to Eintracht Frankfurt, because that will be valuable money for us to go and reinvest in the current market. But moving on from that, I want to jump on over to Ben Chilwell. So I want to react to this story. We'll start with what Enzo Maresca said last night, obviously the manager of Chelsea. Enzo Maresca has said the following on Ben Chilwell. He says, Ben Chilwell is set to leave Chelsea, as Maresca has confirmed. This is a direct quote from the Chelsea manager. He says, it's probably best if Ben Chilwell leaves and goes and finds minutes elsewhere. He says, I love the way he is. The problem is that he's struggling to find the right position with us. So effectively, the Chelsea manager has said Ben Chilwell needs to leave. And I want to ask you this. Should Manchester United be looking at Ben Chilwell? I don't rate Ben Chilwell at all, to be honest. I think he's average. And the thing that I dislike the most about Ben Chilwell is his injury record. We think that Luke Shaw's injury prone, right? Would we all agree that Luke Shaw's injury prone? Ben Chilwell's injury record is worse than Luke Shaw's. And I mean, that's saying something. I don't even know how that's possible. Last season, Ben Chilwell missed 35 games through injury. The season before that, 20. The season before that, 45. That's crazy. So, I mean, if you look at it on average over the last 3 seasons, Ben Chilwell's missed around 30 games a season every single season. And it always seems to be like a hamstring injury or a knee injury. It just seems to be the same thing recurring over and over again. I would only sign Ben Chilwell if it was like a free transfer and you were paying him per game he played. I would maybe consider it then as like a backup left back. But if we actually had to pay a transfer fee for him as well, it's a massive no from me. And I just hope that Manchester United don't go for it. There are some stories this morning saying that apparently Manchester United are interested in Ben Chilwell. But in hindsight, I personally think that this is just, again, his agent trying to get him a move. I've said this to you many, many times before. Throughout the transfer window, we'll be linked to 1 million players. And 99.9% of the time, it's the agent of the player linking us to Manchester United to try and get his client a move. And I think that's the case here with Ben Chilwell. He clearly wants to leave Chelsea. He's clearly, literally, the manager has said that he wants him to go because he's not going to get played. So he obviously wants to leave. And the best way for him to do that is for his agent or whoever, the people around him, to put out a story saying that Manchester United are interested in him. But I just don't understand the logic behind signing somebody who's more injury prone than Luke Shaw, who in the same position, who's already injury prone. Like, it makes zero sense to me. Especially, as I said, if we had to pay a transfer fee for him, I assume he's probably on quite high wages at Chelsea. Let me just have a look. Ben Chilwell earns, let me have a look. I'm sure he earns loads, to be honest. Oh my God. Ben Chilwell earns £200,000 a week at Chelsea. I mean, it's a no. It's a 100% no. I would be, honestly, I mean, disgusted is a strong word, but I probably would be disgusted if Ben Chilwell signed for Manchester United on 200 grand a week when he's missing 30 or more games every season for the last 3 years. But you never know with in football, do you? You never know what might happen. But as I said, my opinion on this story is that it's his agent trying to get him a move, and the easiest way to get interest in your client is to link them with Manchester United. It is. It happens every single window. And we've got another example of that, actually, that I wanted to bring into the show really, really quickly. So does anybody remember last summer we were linked to a guy called Oscar Zambrano? Anybody who's been watching the show since last year when we started will remember. We were linked to this guy from Ecuador, right? And everyone was saying he's the next Moises Caicedo. He's going to be world class. We were linked to him literally all summer last year. It was like he's already signed, he's already done his medical, and then nothing happened. This Oscar Zambrano guy has just signed for Hull today. And that kind of sums it up for me. Last summer, obviously, Brighton were interested in him. Bournemouth was supposedly interested in him. So yeah, he's just joined Hull. And he has an option there to make that deal permanently if the loan goes well. That just kind of sums it up, doesn't it? You know, this was literally a player that we spoke about so much last summer. Everybody saying that he's the next Caicedo. He's going to join Manchester United. The medical's done. The wages have been agreed. It never happened. And then 12 months later, he's literally just signed for Hull in the Championship. So, yeah, we've always got to be careful because we are used so much as the biggest club in the world to try and generate interest in players. And we all get excited about it. We go and watch a couple of clips on YouTube of this, this new player from Ecuador, and everyone gets all excited. But in reality, most of the time they're probably not good enough to come and play for Manchester United, and this is a prime example of that. But moving on from that, I want to talk a little bit about McTominay, because this is now being reported by lots and lots of different Italian journalists, as well as the Manchester Evening News, as well as a couple of other places as well. And the story today is that apparently we are about to see an Osimhen-McTominay transfer domino. So what that means is it looks like Osimhen's going to leave Napoli, which obviously he's not coming to Manchester United before you get excited. It looks like he's going to go to Chelsea for around 100 million. And once that deal goes through, McTominay to Napoli would then happen. So Napoli have already apparently spoke to Manchester United. They tried to get him on loan, McTominay. That was rejected. Napoli have been told that it's going to cost them 30 million euros in order to sign Scott McTominay, which I think is a fair price. And McTominay and Napoli have already agreed personal terms. He said he wants to go there. But the issue is, the issue is until Napoli sell Victor Osimhen, they can't do the deal. So there is a proper transfer domino here, hence the video title. I still think that this one will happen. I can see Chelsea going all out for Victor Osimhen. It just feels like it's going to happen, doesn't it? Chelsea have still got one big signing up their sleeve, you know, and multiple reliable people have reported that Chelsea are negotiating with Napoli for Victor Osimhen, because obviously Lukaku wants to go to Napoli, and you know there's this weird like triangle going on between all these different clubs. So I'll keep you updated on that one. I think it's going to be one that will really progress towards the end of the window. Maybe Manchester United need to sell McTominay in order to get Manuel Ugarte. We'll have to wait and see. But I'm going to wrap the video up here, guys. Thank you very much for watching. I will be back later on this evening for a live show. Please make sure to smash a like before you leave today. Subscribe to the channel if you are new. We're literally just about to hit 38k subscribers, so make sure you subscribe if you haven't already. Have a great day, and I'll speak to you all later. Bye for now.